Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Aaron Yoon coming at you from New York City once again. Welcome to another episode of my day trading vlog. You can probably tell from the title of the video and the thumbnail that I'm not very happy today. I basically gave away all my profits for the week. And so I'm going into tomorrow, Friday, the last trading day of the week. Pretty much at a break even, which doesn't sound so bad, but the swing I was doing pretty good, and then I completely gave everything away today, and I titled the video "Maximum Loss" because I feel like this is eventually this was bound to happen. Um, there's always there's always as a trader we're told that you shouldn't have any more than a certain amount of money lost per day on a daily basis and per trade, right? There's thresholds that where if you lose too much, it's like you're done for the day. And I haven't hit that in a long time, personally, because I've been pretty good about being selective about trades. Today, however, was a little bit the opposite. There was a lot of choppiness in the market, and I got entered on a lot of different quarters, and I got stopped out on basically all of them. Or I broke even and then got stopped out, which was like a break even kind of trade. And this is one of those days where I really felt the pain. This is the drawback, the downside of taking multiple contracts at a time, because every single trade I took today, pretty much I took two contracts at a time, hoping to get a 1-to-1 ratio on one trade so that I could hold the second one for at least a 3-to-1, 4-to-1, or maybe longer. And in retrospect, it was a really bad day to do something like that, because it was not a very trendy day. It was a very choppy, kind of sideways kind of day, and it was a very bearish day, which that was my sentiment going in, but it was still not. It wasn't a heavy, strong downtrend. It was just more of like, yeah, it's bearish, but we're gonna like stop punch you, either way, no matter which way you're taking trades. So even though I was consistent with just looking for shorts, I got stopped out like crazy. Right now you're looking at the Nasdaq, which I don't know why it's not showing the arrows. I think you don't want to see the arrows anyway. There's so many of them, but I basically got stopped out right here. I had a 25 pip stop off this quarter right here, and I got stopped out. It was either one of these two. And as you can tell, I was if I took the trade again, it would have been fine, right? I would have been on the money. But I was following someone this morning who is a much more is a brilliant trader, is a much better trader than I am, and I was listening to him say like, oh, if he gets stopped out once, he doesn't take the trade again. And like, I don't know, I was just in the mode where I wanted to follow him no matter what happens, and I wanted to stay disciplined and not let my emotions get the better of me. And we got stopped out on the Nasdaq kind of the same way together. His entry was pretty much at the quarter. I was like, oh my god, like I love when our similar ideas kind of converge and there's confluence. And that didn't pan out at all. We both got stopped out, and and other people in the class were saying like, "Hey, how about you take it again, because we're still bearish, right? We still want to sell the Nasdaq, right?" And he goes, it's, and he was saying how it's my rule if I get stopped out once, I don't take it again. Now I've heard the complete opposite rule from a different trader who says, if you get stopped out, why wouldn't you take it again, especially off the same quarter, like the same price? And so I definitely got a little bit of conflicting information, but there were so many different opportunities that we were finding on smaller time frames that it seemed like there was plenty of chances to make our money back. And so I was in this mode where I was like, I took a loss, but I'm optimistic for the next one. Like I believe in the teacher. I believe in I can't win 10. I can't lose 10 in a row, right? Anyone ever feel that way? Or is it just me? I was like, oh, there's so much opportunity today. Volatility means opportunity, even if it's a little bit more risky. I'm not gonna lose 10 in a row, and that's basically what happened. My trades that I select are somewhere between $50 to $100 risk per trade. You got to multiply that by 2, however, because I'm looking to take 2 contracts at a time, so that I can take one for a 1-to-1, and then so in other words, I'll try to scrape together a $50 win, so that no matter what happens with the other trade, I'm going to leave an open target. I'm going to try and go for as much profit as possible, right? That's how I learned to trade quarters. And the best example of something like that would have been something like you can see the machine gun freaking. Oh no, that was yesterday. I didn't trade the S&P today. It was too range bound, and I should have kind of just stuck with it. The S&P is my bread and butter. And if I just stuck with it, I wouldn't have gotten stopped out as much. But whatever. Hindsight is 20/20 and all that, right? So anyway, so what I'm talking about in what I'm aiming for, and today was just absolutely the worst day to do it, and I just really kicking myself for giving away all my week's worth of profits and actually hitting my maximum loss threshold. Is this thing right here? What I'm going for is like a 1-to-1. Let's say I'm going for let's just to make it simple. This is the S&P. Let's say that I'm going for a 25 point stop, and that's my risk, right? So a 25 point stop is $125 per contract, a little bit outside of my range, my maximum risk of 100, but let's just use it as an example. The idea is to enter here with 2 contracts. One to get just a 1-to-1, which is never a really good idea to begin with, but it's just to establish a free trade. That way, if I'm in at 31.25 and I take profit for one contract at 31.50, I've booked in $125. That way, even if I get stopped out on the second remaining contract, I will essentially have broken even, but I give it a lot of breathing room to do so. And so that therein lies the idea of the free trade, right? So I really like that idea, and it has worked for me well in the past. It's just that today was a terrible day to try and pull off that kind of a move. In hindsight, and the advantage of that is, when you hit the next quarter, you do the same thing. I take 2 more contracts, and again take one $125 profit here, assuming that I had gotten in on this candle right here, and now I have 2 contracts running open target. We're just gonna let the trend run. And this is how you grow your profits kind of exponentially, assuming that you can ride a trend for multiple quarters, right? And if you can't, then, well, the worst case scenario is that you broke even after having booked a certain amount of profits, right? So that's in general the simplest idea. One of these days, when I'm actually able to catch a trend like that, I will demonstrate it for you over a period of multiple days. Usually the expectation is that you do that over multiple days. That's the essence of swing trading. Now I should at that point probably change the name of my vlog, because I right now I'm just doing day trades, which by definition is I'm out by the end of the day. Maybe I'll take something over on the overnight if I see something, but by definition I am out after by the end of the day. By 5 p.m. I'm out of everything, and that's the way it's been going for the past month or so that I've been on here on YouTube vlogging about everything that I'm doing, and just being brutally honest about it. Like today, I didn't even want to come on because it's like, who wants to share with the world that I lost the maximum amount of money that I'm allowed to lose per day. That happened to me today. Who wants to share that? Nobody. That's. But whatever. I mean, I'm dedicated to keeping this vlog honest and real. So begrudgingly, I showed up and I'm telling you exactly what happened. So the downside of taking multiple contracts to stack quarters on top of quarters and exponentially increase profits is that when you're wrong double. So if there was like in my case, let's say I took a long here, right, to try and go from 3150 to 3175, but you can see that I was just straight up wrong twice. That's me not losing 125. That's me losing 250, right? That's the downside of trading multiple contracts. And that's exactly what happened to virtually every single trade I had today. Almost every single one. The ones that did win, I think I did get a 1-to-1 on a crude oil or something like that. But then it came and stopped me out and broke me even. If I'm not mistaken, you can see there's like a lot of action here. That's just a lot of 1-to-1 target achieved and then stopped out for a break even. 1-to-1 target achieved, stop out, break even. So it's like these trades are a complete wash. All I'm doing is giving the broker a bunch of commission fees, which I don't even know what it is anymore. It's like $1.25, $1.50 something. I don't know. It depends on the security. So I'm just wasting money in terms of broker fees or commission fees here because I'm just breaking even, and I had a string of losses in other securities that I don't even really remember. I've just kind of like unplugged my brain and took a break, just like separated from it. And unfortunately, I had meetings with like business meetings and stuff like that. Anyway, so I was able to really take my mind off of the disaster that happened here today. And I was really able to focus on something else and give other people my attention, and that kind of helped me feel better about it. So right now, at this moment, I don't really want to look and relive the pain because I've gotten over it for the most part. But like for the most part, like it was a string of break evens on the 1-to-1, and then a string of losses that added up to over $500 worth of losses today, which is ridiculous. The maximum drawdown for me is that's always been instilled in my brain is somewhere between 7 to 10%. And today I went like right up, like a little bit less than 10%. So you can kind of imagine, like I started the day off with more than $6,000 in my account, and now I have way less than minus $530 of that, whatever that is. I try not to look at it too much because it just usually upsets me, and then I end up obsessing over it. It's kind of how I mentally hack my own emotions about it, because I need to be level-headed in order to keep showing up. Obsessing over the number of dollars in the account is like, for me, it doesn't help me at all. I know other people are saying, I know a lot of traders, like they track to the penny how much money they have at all times. For me, that has just made me, like, it just messes with my emotions. I don't like it. It's not part of my plan at all. You can say that I am being lazy or being haphazard about the tracking of my trades about it, but that's just what I do, right? For me, the most important part of the game is having a level head and having the and being able to handle the emotional swings, especially on a day like today, and still show up mentally fresh and emotionally fresh, hitting the reset button tomorrow. And literally, I'm getting a tweet right now about how today was a really bad day. Bloomberg said how the Bears have stepped in, and so all that kind of stuff makes me feel a little bit better, because for the week, I'm at a break even point. It's as if I didn't trade at all this week, and it's as if I took the week off. I was up 500 something, maybe $600 or so, and now I've given it all back. So like reminding myself of things like that is what helps me keep coming back into this game emotionally fresh. Tomorrow is Friday. The last thing I want is to start imagine like it's fourth quarter of like a football game or a basketball game, and there's 60 seconds left. The game is tied, but mentally you've just given up a 10-point lead. You were up 10 points. You were about to win, but you let the other team catch up and tie the game, and literally 1 minute left, it's down to a tie game, and you have to, now you're like, there's an extra pressure for you to win because you gave up a lead, right? That's the kind of situation that, like, I don't know what the statistics are in situations like that, but usually there's like the team that's coming back from behind usually has the mental edge because momentum is in their favor. And so for me, I'm on the team that's where momentum is not in my favor going into tomorrow. So it is for me, the most important part is like just like get to hit the reset button, get over it. So I'm not really talking about my trades much right now. I'm not really showing you much of the results of like what trades I took, why I took them, and whatnot. I'm just sharing with you. I lost a string of trades in a row because they were all double contracts. They were all double, taking 2 contracts at a time. And when I was wrong twice as bad as when I was right. So that's really what happened today. Just imagine if I'm risking a maximum of, I risk 1 to 2% of my account per trade. So that's anywhere from like $50 to $100. If I'm really stretching it, if I go $125, which I rarely do, but if I multiply that by 2, then every trade I'm losing anywhere from $100 to $200. So it doesn't take that many. If I'm losing $100 to $200 at a time, it doesn't take that many losses in a row for me to have reached my maximum threshold for the day and just be like, nope, I'm done for the day. It's for me. I took way more than that because there was a bunch of break evens in the middle, but there was no wins to really propel me into a profitable situation. So it was a really terrible day. But like I will say, I stayed disciplined. I was like, crap, I lost again. Oh my god, I broke even. Please let this be a, please let this break out now, And I think every single one of those kinds of trades were along. That just did not happen, right? The Bears were in control today, but like I kept missing. Like I'll show you the Nasdaq that we were stopped out on with my teacher together. Oh, now the arrows are showing. Okay. So, I was wrong here, and I was wrong again here. So the Nasdaq alone was you can see that there's 2 arrows each time. I took a short. I took the price twice basically because I took the same price twice. It did not work. You can argue that I might have been able to take it. This is an hourly chart. Usually, let's just split it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting stopped out like immediately. It's painful to be able to laugh about it. But anyway, right now I was stopped out on the opening breakout or the opening. Yeah. I was stopped out near the opening breakout, and then I was stopped out again in the afternoon. And I think this is literally what brought me to the threshold of losing, because it was like $100 loss per contract times 2, which was like $200 right there. Stopped me out in literally a matter of minutes. So not very good, but that's it. I mean, today the point of today's video is that. Sometimes you will have these days where you actually hit your maximum drawdown per day. And it's really important, I think, to have that kind of a threshold in your head mentally, so that you don't end up falling down a rabbit hole of trying to revenge trade and take riskier and riskier moves. And I know that I'm susceptible to that. I think everybody is at some point, to some extent. I've definitely done stuff like that before, where I'm just taking massive risk and then I'll lose like a huge chunk, way more than 10% over a span of however many trades, right? It could be over a day or it could be over 2 days, but I would just be like, especially when the Corona crash happened, nobody really understood. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to trade that kind of an environment. Like I've only been at this a few months, so the only words of encouragement I keep telling myself from like other teachers and mentors of mine is that right now we're in a period of crazy, unusually abnormal volatility because of the global lockdown pandemic situation. So this is like boot camp. If you're able to handle this kind of environment, a quote unquote normal environment, who knows when that'll be, but when there is a normal environment again, we're told, I'm told that, okay, life will seem much easier. You'll be trained to handle it. So that's what I'm hoping for. Eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll figure out this whole, coronavirus, COVID-19 thing. We'll get a cure. We'll get the economy back on track, and we'll get things more or less back to normal. And I'll have more consistent results by then to be able to share with you all. But today was just one of those days. I guess the universe wanted me to talk about the concept of a daily maximum drawdown, and that's why it made me lose all my money today, or all the profits for the week today. Not all my money, right? Just be clear about that. It was about a little bit less than 10% for the day. So that's the summary and the lesson of the day today. Not really much to show you with charts, because you're just going to see a lot of losses and just a lot of choppiness, and not really much to demonstrate on how quarters work, on anything on the opening breakouts. The news today that came out for Nat Gas didn't pan out as well. It was just disappointment after disappointment, right? Sometimes that'll happen. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit better, but I can confidently say the win that actually comes out of all of this, the silver lining, is that I'm actually able to, I'm confident I'll be able to come in tomorrow emotionally fresh and mentally reset. That's a much better situation that I've been able to have before when things like this would happen. And I think that's probably the most important part of trading that not enough people talk about. Everyone wants to obsess about the candles and stuff like that, and not so much the like the emotional resilience and the mental resilience required to actually play this game. So yeah, well, I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with better news. But if not, then I'm going into the weekend a very, very sad man. So that's it for today. Hope that I hope you can learn from my pain today, and please subscribe to the video, to the channel, and so that you can get daily kind of content just like this. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the trading vlog from YouTube. Take care, everyone.